TGR News, broadcasting from the State of Israel.
Welcome back to TGR News.
Hello, hello.
This week we'll talk about the Minister of Internal Security, BenGvir, as you've heard his name a few times here on this channel, went to the Temple Mount to bring back the conversation of the status quo of the Temple Mount. And the conflict with Iran is escalating, bringing war closer and closer. But first, let's say thank you. Thank you so much for everything you guys do. Every week we say thank you, and every week we're going to continue to say thank you because it is just such a wonderful thing, and thank you isn't even enough that we do here to tell you how wonderful it is what you guys do in the state of Israel, helping these precious people from the nation of Israel, the children and their families, and helping them eat when they don't have the ability to take care of themselves. So many of them are struggling so bad. They're both working, moms and dads, and most of the older children also working. It's just, as you've heard on this channel many times, how the price of living in this country is insane. So it just makes it, that's just the way it is. It's just so hard for these people to get along. And it is such a wonderful thing that you guys do. So we have to say thank you. And it's a wonderful thing, and it's the least we can do to show you these wonderful videos of the passing of the food out. And like we always say, if you haven't yet been a part of this and you feel like you want to, below every video is a link to the Patreon page and to the Support Us page. Or you can just go to thegoldenreport.com and click on the Support Us page there and find whichever way is best for you to be a part of this wonderful thing that we're doing here in the ministry of the Golden Report. So thank you. Let's get started.
Yeah, let's do it.
On Sunday, Hezbollah made a large military exercise right on our northern border. In this training exercise, Hezbollah fired rockets and many live rounds of ammunition to show their great strength. I'm saying that sort of sarcastically. In the video they posted to show their military might, the targets the soldiers were shooting at were wrapped in Israeli flags, making a clear statement. Then they put out a statement saying that if Israel makes a mistake, then they will fire long-range rockets at us. Yeah, I'll tell you what I think this was. First of all, we know the ongoing issues in the Middle East, and there's war always right around the corner, and tensions are growing and everything. But at the same time, there's other things going on. Hezbollah and Hamas recently have gotten pretty big blows to their ego, and their followers have seen how Israel's dealt them pretty strong hands. And this is Hezbollah trying to save face with its own people, trying to act like the big bad boy on the block still, and to raise support, you know.
Yeah, you save face, but they all were wearing masks, so they're trying to be such a,
well, yeah, they still don't want to
scary
be
bad boys,
themselves.
but they're all with masks, so.
Yeah, and don't forget the situation in Lebanon right now. So Hezbollah, I've said it before here. Hezbollah is a party in the government. They're the ones who are the coalition, so to speak, of Lebanon, and Hezbollah stands for Hezbollah. Hezbollah is God's party. That's the name they call their party. And because of all the horrible conditions the people of Lebanon are in, they're losing a lot of traction. So they do this kind of stuff every once in a while to try to, I said, save face.
Yeah. Itamar BenGvir went to the Temple Mount on Sunday, I believe to bring back his agenda to allow Jews to pray on the Temple Mount again. Jordan put out a statement saying that Israel has broken the agreement that was in place about the Temple Mount, the status quo. This is false, of course. BenGvir did not pray or anything like that, and he went up during the allowed non-Muslim times. This is just Jordan being run by Iran and trying to cause turmoil.
Yes, absolutely.
Like they always do.
Yep. And like you said, it wasn't a change of status quo, because just because he's in the coalition and he's a minister in the Israeli government doesn't give him any different set of rules when he can go or not go to the Temple Mount. And he went on the regular times, at the regular schedules, like you said. He didn't pray. He just went up, walked around. Of course, made a video of himself while he did it to prove that he did it. But yes, I think it was to bring the conversation back to get Jews to. That's what I think his main goal is always when he keeps bringing the Temple Mount back to the topic of the news.
Yeah.
Is he's trying to get it where not only non-Muslims, Jews can pray on the Temple Mount again, which would be the first step into rebuilding the third temple, I believe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is
I don't understand the status quo. I know they built a mosque, Arabs built a mosque on top of Solomon's temple, our temple.
right.
But, so there's a mosque. But still, the status quo is discriminating Jews and Christians. So
Yes.
how can it be that only Muslim allowed to pray? We're not going into the mosque, not mosque, but in the Temple Mount, why couldn't people pray?
Yeah, like you saw our video of
non-Muslims?
the Temple Mount. There's lots of open area around
This
there.
status quo is corrupted from the beginning. It's
Absolutely.
it's not fair.
Yep, yeah. Well, I'm sorry, but the world's not fair.
Yeah. No.
Well, also on Sunday, a terrorist attack again at the Hawawa. I don't know if you remember because it seemed like one right after the other about a month ago. So it happened again at this town, Hawawa. This time, the terrorist ran over an IDF soldier and then escaped to Nablus. The soldier was lightly injured and is getting better, expected to make a full recovery. This place, Hawawa, seems to be a new hotspot here in the state of Israel. It's the owners of the stores on the main road there where they do all the terrorist attacks. They all took down their external security cameras to help the terrorists be able to get away, so that there would be no evidence to be able to find the people who did it.
Yeah.
So this place seems to be more and more in the news.
Yeah.
It's also the same place that the Jews went at about a month ago. What was it, a month? I'm bad at time. 2 months ago,
What?
when the first attack happened, and then the Jews came in,
a few months
went
ago.
in and burnt some houses and some businesses and some cars, and then they made a big deal
This
about
was
it.
a big thing, but every day Jews passing by on the
Being
main
shot
road,
and killed. That doesn't seem to be a big thing in
and
the
stoned
global
every
news.
day, stoned. Can you imagine you're driving with your kids in your car and you've been stoned? And those are big rocks that can
Kill you, yeah,
can
absolutely,
kill.
especially when you add the speed of the car.
Yeah.
This week in the left-wing media, they have been very angry at the budget decisions that the coalition made. We are talking about 250 million shekels. The budget's much higher than 250 million shekels. It's just an added from the previous budgets that we're used to, an added 250 million shekels that are to help the young religious Jews that spend their time in yeshiva, or a Jewish Bible school. The reason I bring this up is because this is a great example of the problem with the left wing. 250 million to religious Jews seems to infuriate them. But just last year, when former Prime Minister Bennett gave 53 billion, not million, billion, 53 billion to the Arabs because he was scared to lose his seat that was okay. No one, all the left wing kept their mouth shut at that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember how it happened, but every few weeks or a couple months, the Arab parties, Mansour Abbas, would threaten Bennett. He'd throw the coalition and then he'd lose the prime minister seat if he didn't give him more money. Yeah. So every few months, he'd just give him more money so that he'd keep the coalition going so he could stay as the prime minister. And then by the end of it, when he lost the coalition anyway, he had given 53 billion. And these left-wing people, that's okay, 53 billion.
Yeah.
But 250 million to religious Jews who study the Bible, we can't have that.
And it's important to say that each one of the Knesset members, Arab Knesset members that we have, they all support terror. They're not standing for Israeli Arabs and trying to promote their rights. Maybe they're trying, but you can see pictures and you can see their support on social media. They're meeting with families of the terrorists and supporting them after the terrorists been killed. So they all supporting terror. So this money, the 53 billion shekels, went to terror supporting people.
Yeah, well,
Anti-Israeli people.
That 53 billion was last year. I don't see any change in the streets, in the everyday life, in the infrastructure, or nothing with the Israeli Arabs. So where did that 53 billion go? Exactly like you said. Exactly like you said.
Well, high-ranking general in IDF said this week that Lebanon is planning to make another attack as they did a few weeks ago when a terrorist was able to cross our border and set off a large bomb in Israel. He went on to say that Iran is arming civilian ships to be floating terrorist bases to carry out attacks on Israel. Iran with Lebanon and Syria are continuing to escalate the tension with Israel. This is a ticking time bomb that could go off any minute.
Yep. They showed a picture of the ships. I couldn't find anything that I could use, any pictures, but you saw regular merchant ships that Iran had turned into floating terrorist base that they're planning to put, well, they already have in the Persian Gulf, trying to move a few into the Mediterranean and even at the Red Sea. I'm sure we won't allow them to do that, but that's their plans. And this was some very important information because, first of all, this high-ranking general that gave us the information this week, he reminded us of what happened. Not that we forgot, not that anyone here forgot. Also, about a month ago, we talked about it on the channel when when a terrorist from Lebanon, a Lebanon citizen, sneaked over our border with a very large bomb, and thank God no one was hurt. And blew up the car that it was in on the side of a busy highway.
Yeah, in Megiddo.
And close to Megiddo, close to Armageddon, where the big last battle is going to be. Yeah. So he gave us all this information, and it's really important that the world pays attention, especially us here in Israel, because it is escalating, and Iran is pushing all of this using Lebanon and Syria. You know, It's all coming together. On Tuesday, the commanding chief of the IDF, Herzi Halevi, stated that we are closer than ever to all-out war with Iran. Now, before I go on with the information here, the commanding chief of the the IDF here in Israel, I don't even remember him going on TV to say this kind of stuff, that we are right on the cusp of an all-out war with Iran. The raising tension with their nuclear weapons project and their attacks on Israel via proxies is about ready to pop. This is a whole, pressure cooker we're in. The recent event near a nuclear plant in Iran, where an explosion injured 9 people, and Iran says that it was Mossad who did it. Israel sent a clear statement to Iran this week saying that if you make any attacks on Israel, we will go to war. This is from our commanding chief. Netanyahu stated afterwards on the same day that the secret units of the IDF and other units have a surprising ability to strike our enemies, and we will win any war with Iran and our other enemies. This was this week. War in Iran came up almost daily on the news here in Israel. That's what we do here. We give you all watch the news. All of us watch the world news on all of the different news networks we use to find the truth in the news. But what we do here is exactly this: is give you the news as an Israeli living in Israel, because that's something I have not yet been able to find. That's why I felt moved to do this for you guys every week, so that you have the news. Sometimes it's more interesting, sometimes it's less interesting, but what it is the news from Israel. And I'm telling you, here in Israel, I don't remember the commanding chief and the prime minister on the same week talking to the public through the news media, saying that Iran and war with Iran is close. Yeah. Hamas has been enlisting Arabs that live in Israel for a long time now. That's nothing new. This week, a practice rocket was fired from right outside of Jenin, which is in the state of Israel. to test if they are ready to start firing rockets at us from inside Israel. Also, on another note, Israeli Arab was arrested this week for working with Hamas to make a terrorist attack in a large city in Israel on a bus. He had all the information.
He had the line of the bus and the date, and he was really planning on going with the bomb to make terror attack.
Yeah, and had also at the same time also given Hamas a whole bunch of other information for future attacks.
It's really sad that Israeli Arabs are involved in this, because from one hand you see them really involved in our community, in the Israeli community. You will see them. We have a judge, Arab judge, which by the way Arab judge that sent our president to prison.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
So it's like they have full rights, exactly the same like Israeli. So when one of them make these kind of things, I really feel sad and I feel like hopeless, because I feel like nothing will change. It will ever change. They will never be integrated in the Jewish community and be part of us. You coexist. Okay?
Yeah, well, they prove over and over. Yeah, you can't.
And it's sad. It's sad because, and from the other hand, I know also that many Arabs afraid also. They're afraid from Hamas. Like this week, by the way, a few days ago, Hamas killed 4 people. They have prisons of their own.
Yeah.
They usually prison people that suspected to make deals with Israel or have drugs, hash. Usually it's hash, hiding hash or smoking pot or something. So they killed them for that. So this week they killed 4 Palestinians. 3 were hanged and 1 was shot. That means the 1 was militant and the 3 were just civilian.
Yeah.
But they scare people. They scare also. They're trying to get to Israeli Arabs too, and they try to buy them or they try to
scare tactic them into But it's true. But the fact that the Israeli Arabs do participate and do join in attacking in Israel. It's just like you talked about it earlier about how you see the Israeli Arabs. Just a few weeks ago, also about a month ago, you had the Israeli Arab doctor who tried to make a terrorist attack here in the old city of Jerusalem. I mean, it's just the Israeli people. If the Arabs would want peace, we wouldn't have peace here.
Yes.
It's a fact. But you can't have peace and you can't talk peace with someone when the only thing they want is to kill you.
Golda Meir said once something really smart. She said, when they love their children more than they hate us, then we'll have peace.
Then we'll have people to talk with.
Yeah. On Wednesday, after the coalition passed the budget for the 2 next years, Netanyahu made a short comment that the Supreme Court reform is going to return and hopefully they will be able to come to an agreement with the opposition. But it sounded like even if the opposition doesn't compromise, then the reform will still pass. I'm glad.
Yeah, me too. It was a little tidbit there towards the end of the week from the news. I enjoyed hearing that, because we need it. Israel needs it to be able to take care of some important issues in the state.
Just for your knowledge, the protests still going.
Oh yeah.
Every few days
Was
they
it
go.
4th month now?
Yeah, and it's not like we were trying to negotiate with the opposition, but people still going out. Sometimes 100,000, like a lot of people. And they still protesting
against the reform.
And the question is against what? Against.
Yeah.
Now they're showing us that they protested not against the reform because it stopped and it's been negotiated. They're protesting about our government, especially Benjamin Netanyahu. That's all.
Yeah. Well, that was the week. That was this week. That was the news here in Israel. Yeah. You got anything you want to add?
No, not today.
Okay. Well, don't forget to join us on thegoldenreport.com. And until next time.
Shabbat Shalom.
God bless.